three. Bang!
What game is this? This is incredible. Hook, delightful. Wow. Too strong.
Now Melbourne goes, and Melbourne gets the bucket. Circus basketball to Roof.
Cole! Yes!
Hello and welcome to the final game of round one of the Cygnett WNBL. It's Qudos Bank Arena. It's the Sydney Flames up against the UC Capitals. My name is Matt Hickey. We hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon, and we've got a great game in store for you. I'm joined by Mark Alabakov. Mark, really intriguing contest between the Caps and the Flames.
It really is. It's the first step in a new journey for both of these franchises. We've got a new look Sydney Flames. They've had some key players depart, many new additions to the lineup. And then you've got the reloaded Caps with a familiar face on the sideline in championship winning head coach Paul Gores.
No doubt about that. There's some fantastic talent on both ends of the floor. New faces, familiar faces. And it's just exciting. Round one, how good is the Cygnett WNBL? We've had a couple of great games already to begin round one. Of course, Townsville, they won the season opener in convincing fashion against Geelong United. We saw Bendigo have a win over Adelaide. That game a little bit closer than the scoreline suggests. And then last night, the Perth Lynx in the grand final rematch, Mark. You were commentating that game. A remarkable performance from the Lynx.
And literally shot the lights out. They hit 12 three-point shots, shot it nearly over 50% for the majority of that one, had 6 individual three-point shooters, had 57 points on the board at halftime. It was an absolute clinic and gets their first win on the board.
Let's get stuck into this one first. It's the Sydney Flames we're going to take a look at, and we mentioned the new additions off the top. Plenty of new faces. It's worth noting as well that Emma Clark, she is out with a quad injury, but don't stress too much, Flames fans. She's going to be re-evaluated next week. But your thoughts on the Sydney Flames?
Well, look, it's hard to replace Lauren Nicholson, Tess Madgen and Dee Dee Richards, but it's a different lineup. Celeste Taylor comes in. She's an athlete that's a disruptive defender. She makes the right play on the offensive end, and she stays in plays with repeat efforts. Yamaya Morris comes in at 6'6". She's a post that rolls. She's a rim protector for them. And then the addition of Roof and a returning Shanice Swain, healthy now.
And our man Nathan Strempel spoke to their coach, Guy Malloy.
Guy, second season at the helm for the Flames. Exciting to go at, and a big front court, different to last year. Yamaya Morris joining you, Michaela Roof joining Kayla George there.
Well, we lost Dee Dee Richards to an Achilles injury, and we took the opportunity to just reform the front line and added a genuine 5 in Maya, and then helps us play Kayla a little bit more in the 4.
And you talked about some of those unforeseen changes, Dee Dee, Madgen, Nicholson all out, so you've had to juggle a bit coming into the season.
Yeah, look, it's a shame we lost those players and the continuity, but we've got some outstanding young talent. It's a great opportunity for them, and we hope to see them grab it through the year.
And no doubt the leadership of Kayla George essential working with that young talent.
Yeah, her leadership's been amazing, and she's had a great pre-season, so I hope she's ready to go.
Thanks, Guy, for your time. All the best in round one.
Thank you.
Guy Malloy there talking about Kayla George, and Mark, we're expecting a big season from her.
Yeah, and she'll bring that leadership. She's a seasoned professional in the WNBL, has obviously come from that bronze-winning Opals team at the recent Olympics. But she brings perimeter shooting, as Coach Guy Malloy alluded to, so she can play that natural position and be that threat out there. And then when teams put a smaller defender on her, she's got the ability to post them up.
Our attention now moves across to the UC Capitals, a team that finished 4-17 last year, but they're an exciting rising core that have had some handy additions, Mark, and we're expecting a much better year from them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've had a couple of seasons now with Jade Melbourne as the main focal point, with role players around her. Now she's got some genuine help. She's got genuine interior presences in Charlie Collier. Horvat can go down there and play as well. And Nadia Poch being able to be that slashing wing athlete. You're going to find that Jade will have more time and space to operate, and that could be dangerous for opponents.
No doubt about that. Nathan Strempel caught up with Paul Gores pre-game.
Paul, 8 years ago, a rookie head coach at the UC Capitals. Must be a sense of nostalgia back at the helm.
Yeah, it makes me feel old, but time goes really quickly, and really happy to be back.
Coming back with a young group full of potential, some of them playing, or a lot of them playing their first WNBL minutes today. How do you manage the nerves going into that?
Oh, yeah, that's what I just said to him in the locker room. It's a game of basketball. They don't forget how to play, and so just trying to take some of that stress and nerve away. But, you know, they're young, they're excited. I think we'll put on a great show today, hopefully.
And when we talk about young talent, some not, still young, but not as young. Collier at 25, Chantel at 26, their first minutes in the WNBL, but loaded with talent coming in.
Yeah, it's like that's what we wanted to build around, is like young talent and talent that wanted an opportunity to play in the WNBL. And I think that I'm really excited for the opportunity that they're going to get, and you know they'll take that opportunity, and we'll see what they can do out on the floor today.
And finally, Jade Melbourne's leadership off the bronze medal of the Opens must be essential in her 5th season.
Yeah, she's crucial to us and how we go and how we win, and couldn't think of a greater leader to have at the UC Capitals, but just her infectious nature and how she plays the game.
Thanks for your time, Paul. Have a good one today.
Thank you.
In terms of young talent, Mark, it doesn't get much more exciting than Jade Melbourne.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, and she's been such a star of the WNBL for some time. She's coming off a WNBA season with the Washington Mystics where she averaged 5.5 points, 1.5 rebounds and 1.5 assists. But she's got more help now than she's ever had. So this doesn't allow opponents to play against her and shrink the space, helping off other Caps players, for instance, where they have to now respect the Horvats, the Colliers, the Potchers, the Mungers, etc. As I mentioned earlier, it means more time and space for Melbourne to do what she does.
No doubt about that. A great chance to cross now live to the epic and incredible Nathan Shrimp.
Great matchups and great new talent this season in the WNBL, and one to highlight. Last time they shared the court, they were playing for the Texas Longhorns. But today their opponents, Charlie Collier playing for the Capitals, Celeste Taylor for the Flames. And gents, you were talking about Jade Melbourne having more help. Charlie Collier, #1 draft pick for the WNBA in 2021. It'll be fascinating to watch Jade with a legitimate big playing against her, and a big with a point to prove after falling out of the WNBA a few years ago. And then crossing to Celeste Taylor, we talk about unforeseen changes with the Flames. Madgen out, Lauren Nicholson out, a big load for her to shoulder in the backcourt. It'll be great to watch how she can be disruptive, and that match up head-to-head with Jade Melbourne.
Thanks, Nathan. No doubt about that. We're almost ready to get this game tipped off here at Qudos Bank Arena. Really exciting contest. They've been waiting a long time in the pre-season. The Caps are in the blue, the Flames are in the black, and we are underway, and it's the Capitals who will get first possession. So we get a good early look at this offense, and we expect the ball in Jade Melbourne's hands a lot, and she does get the first look here. Shot clock down to single digits. Extra pass, and that one a little strong off back iron, and Kayla George comes up with the rebound. So the Flames have, as Nathan mentioned in the pre-game, plenty of changes. Let's see what this new look offense is going to look like. And immediately they look to go down to Michaela Roof. And Michaela Roof, NBL 1 level at the moment. Last season she averaged 18.4 points per game and 21.2 rebounds. What on earth is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a genuine leather poisoning, isn't it? Being able to get that much possession of the basketball. But, I mean, she's shown her proficiency to be a great hustle player at any level.
And they'll get another look here, the Flames. Here is Roof on cue. And she must have heard us because she goes bang, 1, 2, 3, and this game is underway.
That's the flexibility that they'll have with Roof in the lineup now, where when they bring in Yamaya Morris, she'll play close to the basket, and you've got both George and Roof who can play that three-point stretch forward position.
Jade Melbourne with a tough look. It was some good help defense from George, and the Flames will get the chance to extend an early little lead here after that Roof 3. Always interesting to see how teams look to come out firing in their first game of the season. Kayla George couldn't bury the 3, and another opportunity almost for the Flames, but here comes Melbourne and the Caps. Little hesitation, step through, up and not quite in. That was Monique Babongi, but they'll get another look again. The offensive rebounds a factor for both teams. Might have been a double dribble mark. Babongi in the corner, and the Caps are on the ball.
Go splash, but that's a result of having an interior presence who you can throw to or can keep the ball alive in rebounding contests.
So a couple of early hits, and that is out of bounds. So Shanice Swain just stepping on that baseline only played the 3 games last year for the Flames, and you mentioned earlier it's exciting for them to get her back fully fit coming off a good NBL 1 season.
Yeah, and she was exceptional. Averaged 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in that competition. She'll be brimming with confidence, trying to make a name for herself in the WNBL further than what we already know.
Collier can't get her WNBL account opened. And again, Kayla George was just about ready to pull the trigger in transition then, but maybe smarter heads prevail and they'll go through a set early in this one. Roof from the same spot, the same shot and the same result. Hot start, Michaela Roof.
And that's the challenge if you're the Caps, when you're defending a team that's got both Kayla George and Roof on the floor. Traditionally, you're used to seeing a lot of them with post touches, and their defenders sit in the paint. So if they've got the ability to hit that 3-point shot, they often have a lot of space to do so.
Chantel Horvat couldn't get her first WNBL points. Again, a really exciting product, and we get to see her on home soil here in the WNBL. Shanice Swain, and it is a 3-point party.
Right, it's following on from the Perth Lynx overnight, shooting at a really high clip.
Everything coming from the land of plenty at the moment for both teams. Don't see much of Jade Melbourne to start. How is that for a no-look pass? But not quite on the same page as Nadia Poch, and the Flames will get the ball back.
But I like that from Jade Melbourne, right? Getting other people involved, and when you've got a slashing wing player like Poch, she's a target to throw to and somebody who can finish with athleticism.
Swain pulls the trigger again. My goodness, the Sydney Flames are on fire. What a remarkable start to this game. 4 made triples. They lead 12-3. Good block from Celeste Taylor. They're going to push quickly back the other way on the fast break. It's all Sydney at the moment. And don't be surprised if we get a timeout shortly. We get one immediately. Mark, what a hot start for Sydney.
Absolutely, doing a great job of executing within their offense. The ball moves side to side, and what that does is it forces defenders to have to change their position, change their stance, and have to chase you out on the 3-point line or pack the paint.
4 of 5 from deep to start the game, Sydney. Now, if you were coaching the Caps, what would your message be after, obviously not the start you're after?
Yeah, look, I think it begins and ends with your shot selection, right? So if you're executing and you're getting the shots that you want, it gives you an opportunity to keep that ball alive on the offensive glass, but then formulate your defensive transition, get numbers back behind the ball, and then you can formulate whatever it is that is your defensive scheme, thereafter.
And as a coach who has had a lot of recent success, Mark, if you come out like this and you're beating your team by 11, is it just a case of just keep doing what you're doing?
Look, I think you've got to roll the dice with something different and give a little anchor of hope for the group to get back on track. So that might be out of this timeout a particular offense that is comfortable for them to provide the shots that get high percentage looks for the team. It might be a defensive change-up, but something that they can anchor to that this is going to be the thing that turns it around for us and gets us back in the contest.
So 14-3, Sydney off to a very, very good start to WNBL 25, and a bit of up-court pressure here as well. And if they almost forced a turnover, it's going to be a foul called on Isabella Brancatizano. Good to see her starting as well, Mark.
Yeah, great opportunity for her. She's done a tremendous job at NBL 1 level, being an on-ball defender and being really disruptive. I believe in the past decade of NBL 1 level, I think she's probably the best or has the highest 3-point shooting percentage out of any of the conferences.
She's got the defensive job on Jade Melbourne, who attacks off the left, scores the points, hoop plus the harm, and she'll go to the line to shoot one extra, and that is exactly what you want if you're Paul Goris. Come down and just run a set, get a good look, and now a trip to the free throw line.
Right, and she'll have that, but it's the gravity of her teammates now compared to previous seasons where if you're defending the UC Caps, you have to play a little tighter to the more dangerous offensive weapons that they now have. And as I alluded to in the pregame, it's more time and space for Jade Melbourne to do her thing.
So pressure up court again here from the Caps. They trail by 8 in this one. Sydney get through it relatively easy. Celeste Taylor to keep it going from deep, no, but offensive rebounds a factor for both teams early. Shanice Swain, no dice, and the Caps finally get a defensive rebound. Melbourne looking to dance again. Already played over 4 minutes here in this opening quarter. Stagnant possession here, single digits on the shot clock. Melbourne looking to go one-on-one. Step back three, tough look. No dice.
Very tough, and dragged 2 defenders away out to the corner. Had a wide open, I believe, to Chantal Horvat as we see another 3-point shot go down.
It is remarkable here from the Flames. If you're wondering what the offensive focus was going to be, I think it might be shooting from the perimeter. Poch gets her first good look. Hoop plus the harm again for the Caps.
She's an exceptional cutter off the ball, so where she draws the help, or the dribble penetration rather, draws the help of her defender, she'll cut backdoor and be able to be a big target at the rim. And she's athletic enough to finish, both through contact and then with her length.
Now, it wasn't Jade Melbourne on the assist that time, it was Chantal Horvat, but last year Jade Melbourne, an equal league leader in assists per game with 7.6. With this improved supporting cast, did we see double-digit assists this year for Jade Melbourne?
Look, I think that it's a fair likelihood that she'll at least match that figure, but there's probably going to be countless games where she gets double digits or very close to it.
Ball through hands, finds its way to Kayla George, another three. Oh, everything going for the Flames at the moment. Are you kidding me? The basketball gods looking down very fondly on them at the moment.
The rim looks like a hula hoop for them right now.
Tough look for Horvat. Couldn't get it to go, and Flames will take over. 20-8 at the moment. And they are shooting 6 of 9 from the land of plenty. I dare say that the quarter time break might be get out to the perimeter. Single digits for them now. Pittman getting her first minutes. Extra kick's going to come across. Hard drive. Good take and a good finish. Celeste Taylor.
They're just patient, aren't they, the Flames? They're not in a hurry. They'll make the right basketball play.
Can get the same roll down the other end, the Caps. Trail by 14, and coming off a year where they only won 4 games, this is not the start they would have wanted to WNBL 25. Pittman. Not quite. It's been a whirlwind opening period. Melbourne goes again on the left, and she'll shoot 2 free throws, so a chance for the Caps just to take a deep breath on what has been an avalanche of threes from the Flames.
And the challenge that you have if you're the Caps is you can't panic. There's a lot of basketball yet to be played, and obviously the hot shooting Flames are shooting at a clip at 60% right now. That's going to come back down to earth in some capacity. You just got to try to stem that tide as best as possible and stay within touch distance on the scoreboard so that it doesn't get too out of hand. So there's a key free throws coming up here for Jade Melbourne.
And good signs from a young team that they're not trying to match them from deep as well. It's always the concern with a young team when the opposition starts really making it rain from deep, that they try and go shot for shot, but happy to get to the basket and get to the free throw line.
Yeah, and this psychology of basketball, right? Like when you see a margin like this and you try to make all of it up in a hurry, it can be to your detriment often and take you out of your natural flow.
Swain up to 8 points. He's had a fantastic start to this game. Horvat, again, we see there attacking the paint. She'll go to the line to shoot a pair. Shanice Swain, as we mentioned at the top of the show, just the 3 games last year for the Flames. Just her 4th season in the WNBL, and a fit Shanice Swain is a serious, serious threat for Sydney.
What a huge addition for them, right? It gives them some more perimeter scoring. She's shown that she can shoot the 3. She can definitely get to the basket and has an explosive first step. And she's going to be really important, especially in the absence of the amount of scoring that will be lost in the absence of Lauren Nicholson, who is pregnant. So congratulations to Lauren and Jacob.
Yes, congratulations on very, very exciting news for them, no doubt. A baby boy on the way. As Horvat knocks down the second, and the lead just trimmed down to 12. Inside 3.5 minutes to play here in the opening quarter at Qudos Bank Arena. And it is Sydney on their home floor who have come out and fired the first shot, or I should say multiple shots from deep. Great cut, great pass, and a trip to the free throw line coming for Pitt.
And both teams doing a tremendous job right now of cutting off the ball. So anytime you're in a corner and your defender is either above you or becomes occupied with either a post catch or dribble penetration coming towards them, both teams showing a great conditioning, I guess, in being able to make that backdoor cut, and it's turned up trumps for them. They've got layups and got a set of free throws out of that particular play. As
a coach, is there much more that brings you joy than the execution of a backdoor cut, great fun and a layup? It's just pretty to watch, isn't it? For basketball-wise, it's just...
Well, you're talking to a coach that runs the shuffle offense, and the backdoor cutting is a huge part of that. So, yeah, preaching to the choir, my friend.
So the Flames with the big advantage early. Melbourne, nice kick to the corner. This one has to go for the Caps, and it does. Nicole Munger for three. Coming off her second NBL 1 East MVP, Shanice Swain. They haven't read the scouting report there. They left her wide open and got away with one. Just a miscommunication. Great pass from Melbourne, but just a little too hot for Munger. Pressure was up to the task from the Sydney Flames. So the Caps probably looking if they can get it back to single digits heading into the quarter time break after everything that's happened. Another great pass and another great finish. The Flames continue on their merry way, but it has to be the job here for the Caps. Just contain this and reset heading into the second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I mentioned earlier that three-point shooting barrage that they started with, that will come back down to earth, and it'll compromise a little bit of the scoring punch that they'll have, and it'll open up opportunities for the Caps to get out and run on misses.
And not good after a make when you give away a wide open layup.
Right, and I mean, this is the thing, like the things that are within your control, you've got to try to nail down the basics to try and stay within touch distance.
And Jade Melbourne gets wide open again to the basket, but it's going to be a foul, and I have a feeling, as we just wait to see what happens, it might have been off the ball. It was offensive foul, so the points will not count. Now, I spoke about the things that excite coaches, but that full court pass and a wide open layup off a make is almost as bad as fouling a three-point shooter, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, the basics are the things that they're so fundamental, but they erode quickly as we see another big shot go down.
The Flames again, this is just remarkable. They are making it rain in Sydney at the moment. Lead is out to 16. And there's still a minute 15 to play here in the first quarter as Alatafiano gets on the board there for two. And it'll stay Sydney ball, but they've got 33 points in the first quarter and we've still got a minute 10 to play, Mark.
It's huge, and it's way too many for what you would want qualitatively.
And backdoor again, hold on, I'm not sure this is going to count because there was the buzzer came from the scorer's bench, and I think the Caps might have just switched off because of that. And so now the officials are going to go down and have a chat. It looked like there was a substitution that was going to be on the floor. And it will. So the points will not count and we'll reset that possession. So Coach Guy Malloy may be wishing he didn't make that substitution because it was another brilliant execution off the sideline out of bounds.
Absolutely, and that, it's called a UCLA cut, a back screen and UCLA cut. It's a really difficult action to have to defend because there's an imminent threat of a layup opportunity the moment that you get disconnected from that offensive player.
Ball movement and execution on offense has been phenomenal for Sydney to start this game.
And you'd expect nothing less from Guy Malloy coach teams. I've had the privilege of working really closely with Guy in previous WNBL franchises, and I mean, he's absolutely the gold standard for precision, ability to teach, and then a hierarchy of thinking for players.
Getting another good look off an out of bounds play. This one doesn't go down, and Jade Melbourne will come back the other way. She's up to 7 points in this one already. They're doing all she can, but it's more the defensive end of the floor that the Caps need to improve on. Offense hasn't been too bad. They want a little loose. This possession, Cygnett, Tofiano again. Up, under, couldn't get it to go with the left. Munger got the offensive rebound, and now she earns herself a trip to the free throw line to shoot two.
She's a relentless competitor, so she's an athlete that has been an import in the competition and a role player for this Caps lineup, but she's relentless effort and hustle every single possession, and it's multiple efforts. Her feet land and they go again. She runs through the basketball. She gives you the effort that you want to keep the basketball alive and keep it locked in your half so teams don't get the opportunity to just get a clean rebound and get out and run the opposite direction.
So 34 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. It has been a hot start already. It was a little bit reminiscent of what we saw last night between the Spirit and the Lightning. Points are plenty, and I tell you what, if this is anything to go off for the rest of WNBL 25, we're in for an absolute treat of a season. There's no doubt about that. Swain, the no-look finds. He's got it on a string at the moment.
A beautiful cut to the basket again. That came from the 45. So that's another cut that gets utilised when players dribble penetrate to the basket along the baseline. That cutting action often opens up a player at the rim.
Yes, his first WNBL points. Now she's got the job of guarding Melbourne. Shot clock winding down. 3 on its way. No dice. Got to get it up quickly. Doesn't go. And a little bit symbolistic of the opening period for the UC Capitals. At the moment, they trail 35-21 after a hot start from the Sydney Flames.
Flames fans, this time to scan that QR code and to get into the Harvey Norman Hoops Money Can Buy experience, including a behind-the-scenes tour, courtside seats, and a Canon EOS R100 camera. Or, also, you gotta get into it by scanning. Don't miss out. Scan now, and good luck to you.
Flames fans, how is that for a first quarter? Can I get some noise? Yes, we have come like bulls out of the gates, ready to take this one out. And you know what? It's your turn now. I want to see you put in some effort because it's time to power up the crowd. Thanks to our proud sponsor, Cygnett. I have a beautiful mum-daughter duo. Can I get your name, please? Harper. And your name, Mum? Zoe. All right, you need to help Harper and Zoe out now because it's time to get loud. Zoe is going to get all the parents, all the adults. They are going to cheer with Zoe. And then Harper is going to get all the kids, all the teens, all the big kids to cheer. So everyone, I need all your help. Let's start adults first. Let's go. Okay. Let's count it down in 3, 2, 1. Zoe, get them going! All right, adults. Let's hear you. All right. Come on. Louder now. That's it. All right. Pretty good stuff. Thank you, adults. But it's time for the kids. All right. Are you ready, Harper? Let's get a 3, 2, 1 for Harper. Everyone counting down with me. 3, 2, 1. Cheer!
Fascinating matchup early. The Flames 35 leading the Capitals 21. But the matchup between these coaches is a great one to watch. Both veterans of the league. Paul Goris in his second stint here at the Capitals. Guy Malloy, his second season here with the Flames. The style of both coaches. Goris trying to empower the team to get out and run, get the ball in Melbourne's hands and run with her. And it was an early timeout to say, don't try and match the perimeter shooting of the Flames. Get the ball inside, which they did well to stem the tide. Guy Malloy, on the other hand, loves to hard show on the on-ball, be disruptive defensively and get out and run. And we saw great ball movement from the Flames as they were getting open 3 after open 3 to really push out for a massive first quarter with that lead 35-21.
Thank you, Nathan. Brilliantly put. And our Amy replay for the first quarter. And no surprise at all, Mark. It was a 3-pointer to the Sydney Flames.
Right, dribble penetration that leads to a kick-out pass and an extra pass to the wide-open shooter. I mean, that's just great team basketball. You would accept that shot quality in any possession. It's why they're shooting at the clip that they are right now.
Yeah, 7 of 13, and I love Kayla George's expression as she saw that one just roll around and drop in there on the Amy replay. We're back underway here in the second quarter, and just a hold off the ball. But you mentioned that shooting, 7 of 13 from deep from Sydney. Just remarkable start for them. The Caps just 2 of 6 from deep. But the free throw line attempts important for the UC Caps, 7 of 8. So when things aren't necessarily going away, get to the charity stripe.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the only shot that you shoot in the game without any defense on you.
Easy way to get them. Well, for some, not necessarily for me back in the day, but easy for some. Great take, good rip through, and a score there for Pittman, who's putting together some really nice minutes, up to 6 points off the bench. Got to get this ball over, turnover. It was sloppy from the Capitals, and the Flames will get a chance to extend the lead again. Swain steps into the 3 and left that one a little strong. And there's going to be a foul there on the rebound. Shanice Swain, 8 points and 3 assists in that first quarter. What a fantastic start for her for WNBL 25.
Absolutely, and coming out of being the offensive threat, that now that she's healthy, we're able to see all of the breadth of her talent and what she can do.
And Carla Pittman, 6 minutes off the bench, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Can't ask for much more than that. Melbourne has mostly looked to get to paint. Here's Horvat. Can she get going? A little too strong. Big effort from Munga. Absolutely flew in for that rebound and won her team the ball.
And Munga, you feel like, I mean, after we watch that athletic effort, she could be great at any sport that she turned her hand to. I mean, just her will to win is at another level and keeps the basketball alive. If there was no whistle on that possession, the Caps get a wide open layup out of it. So her coming in and trying to be a catalyst to drive some of this comeback, it's really what this Caps lineup needs.
So we're just having a little break in play here as they clean up some of the sweat on the ground that Nicole Munga spilt after that big attempt at a grab across the top and won her team back the ball. But as Mark said, they almost didn't want the foul because it would have resulted in a wide open layup, and points a little harder to come by. Here is Munga for 3. Can she get the reward? She can't. She almost came in and got another rebound. Swain, a kick across. It was the right idea. The execution just not quite there in transition. Good rip away. Back the other way. Here comes Horvat. Will go to the Euro. She spent time in Spain, and she's bringing the Euro flair here back to Australia.
That's a great call by you.
Every now and again you get one. You get one. You get one off. And an offensive foul, so maybe things starting to turn here for the Caps as we get a look at that. Great read from Horvat, wasn't it?
Yeah, tremendous. Shooting that passing lane and then being able to be creative with her finish across the defender that stepped in the road.
Back to 14. Looking to get the ball back inside. Just ran into trouble looking to go to the left. Single digits on the shot clock. Tough take. And Kayla George comes away with the rebound. But Bongi there just couldn't quite get it up and in. Swain says, anything you can do, I can do as well. And a nice step through 2 for her. High quality basketball. Munga, line drive triple is good, and these teams trading punches to start the second quarter.
They finally get 1 to 4, which is really important for them. Keeps them within touch for this quarter alone.
Good defense from Jade Melbourne there, and Munga will push the ball back the other way. We heard Nathan talk about their want to push the ball in transition, and they do so there. Nicole Munga, a hard take, the pull-up triple, and the Caps cut the lead to 10. Played 3.5 in the second quarter.
Flames fans, loving your energy. Supporting our team dream team. 10 points up. Let's keep this energy up. That's how you do it. Pom pom.
Welcome back to Qudos Bank Arena. A quick time out there from the Sydney Flames, who were losing the second quarter, the early parts of the second quarter, 8-4, and Mark, the Caps have come out firing here in the second period.
They have, and it's been driven by Nicole Munger. In that last 3 possessions, she kept a basketball alive on the offensive glass. She hits the back-to-back shots. Now you get a chance with the margin at 10 to slowly chip away at this and try to get yourself within touch distance by halftime.
Got to start with a stop if you are the Caps. Let's see what the Flames can draw up, and Shanice Swain got to the spot she wanted. Execution not quite there, and then a foul called on the rebound for Kayla George. Will stay with the Flames.
When you're the Caps and you're playing against a team that's caught fire really early, as I mentioned earlier, they tend to come back to earth, and shooting percentages regress to whatever the mean or the average would be. You just got to try to find your rhythm, and as we see another one go down, my goodness.
Kayla George says, what are you talking about,
Yeah,
Mark?
right. She might have an earpiece in. But you know, you've got to try to establish your identity and the comfort of the style of how you want to play, knowing that there's a lot of basketball left to be played.
Melbourne again the take, and again she'll go to the free throw line for one more.
Having the discipline and the comfort to just win the game slowly, not try to rush any of the actions. I think with Jade Melbourne, there's been a 50-50 split for mine on forced actions and forced shots, and then others that look within her wheelhouse where everybody's had a touch and gotten involved, and then the ball ends with her to finish the play with a straight line drive.
Looks like a really concerted effort from Melbourne to get to the paint and get to the rim to start this game. Last season, she did settle for a few jump shots when you thought maybe she could have got to the basket, but she's definitely getting to the rim today.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned the time and space that she'll have with some quality offensive threats now within the lineup that are going to take defensive focus away.
Let's throw down to our man on the ground, Nathan Stremple.
It was great to see in the time out there for the Flames, just the veteran leadership of Kayla George. Just the momentum went with the Capitals a little bit to start the quarter. Kayla pulled the side in, gave some words of adjustment before head coach Guy came in, similarly calm. And the Sky Malloy teams all start with the defense. There's some adjustments for the off-ball defense as the Capitals were able to create getting good looks at the rim via Melbourne. So some slight adjustments there. Look for the Flames to get those stops and get out and run.
Great shout, Nathan, as we see Shanice Swain heading to the line to shoot a pair. Again, a lot of that backdoor action, the great cutting off the ball, which is sometimes not something you see in abundance to start a season, but it's great to see them operating at full tilt straight away off the bat.
Yeah, and I mentioned before, Guy Malloy is as good there is a teacher of the game and creator of clarity that I've ever been around. I think he's well regarded worldwide for his ability to do that. That's why his teams play well from the jump.
Good find there, Chantal Horvath in the corner, who buried the three. And we've just got a whistle there on the inbound as well. So it's time to just clean up the floor again. Floor wipers getting their money's worth, aren't they?
Always. But look, if you're the Caps, this margin's down now under 10. You get a little bit of confidence going. You've had a successful first start to the quarters. We see this incredible drive and then a hook pass, rather, from Jade Melbourne to the wide open three-point shooter.
Pretty sweet on the Amy replay there from Jade Melbourne, that assist game that we spoke about earlier.
But it gives you confidence, right? And there's still 5 minutes left in this quarter for you to continue to chip away at this margin.
So lead is 10. We've played just a tick over 4 minutes, and they'll get a chance to cut into it again, as Mark mentioned. It's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint when you go down early, and you get to see what the Caps can deliver. Here is Melbourne looking for three and left that one short. And not a lot of the offense has been run through Potch. Maybe it's worth her getting involved a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's more value to you, I think, off the ball and cutting actions, as we've seen from the start here. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to get her perhaps in isolation. She's quite an athletic player that if you got the ball to her in space, she'd be able to create something, either a layup or get herself on the free throw line.
Almost caused an offensive rebound there. She didn't. Swain, no look pass, but Brancatazano just stepped out of bounds. Now, as a coach, how much does it frustrate you when players in the corner step out of bounds? I think it's the shooting practice. Be in the court.
Well, they might have big feet. But look, I mean, it's a skill set that's different to everywhere that you play. So it's something that you've got to condition in a whole lot of your skill work and your practice. Being able to land with a jump stop so that your first step goes forward and not back to go forward, where you're at risk just like that of stepping out of bounds.
That's very good from you, Mark. Right on cue, we see that replay. We've got a timeout on the floor. It's the Flames with a 10-point lead here against the Caps in what has been a really thrilling opening round. There's no doubt about that. Mark, we spoke pre-game about the Perth Lynx. Does that win over the Flyers thrust them into very, very, very early championship favouritism?
I mean, look, they're certainly a team that's held their core together for the most part. They're less Erin McDonald and Emily Potter, who are two big exclusions, but then the addition of Ali Wilson, I mean, as we saw last night, she was an unsung hero of that particular game, and she's going to be really valuable from a lineup standpoint and a scoring standpoint. But for mine in these early stages, and championships aren't won and lost on paper. On paper, the Bendigo Spirit has the most experienced and most dangerous, I would say, core 5 or 6 athletes, and they'd be the early championship favourites for mine.
And that's a man with plenty of silverware, so worth listening to what he has to say. And the Perth Lynx will tip off round 2 as well on Wednesday against the Townsville Fire, and they had a great win, the Fire did, against Geelong in the opener of the season. So we're back underway. No surprise, Jay Melbourne just looking to get things going here for the Caps. Hasn't found her outside stroke, but has been brilliant getting to the basket. Haven't seen much of this post-up game. Hesitation, fall away, and bailed out a little bit, and a trip to the free throw line coming for Charlie Collier.
I like that she backed herself and attempted the shot out of that play. There was previous touches that she had earlier in the post here where she went into her couple dribble, looking to spin off the contact of the defender type of shot, and then bailed out on the play and threw the ball back out. It's great for her to have the confidence to go up because she's a proficient scorer. I mean, she showed the ability to do that both in Europe and over in Asia, but then this gets her an opportunity to get high percentage looks, get herself on the free throw line, and that's confidence building in itself, and they're going to need her to fire.
The first pick in the 2021 WNBA draft. Spent 3 years as a Texas Longhorn, and as a junior averaged 19 and 11. So we know how good she can be, and hopefully we get the best of her here in the WNBL. And I like the goal kicks as well, just quietly. There's an early statement in your first WNBL game. Good defensive possession here from the Caps. Ruth, we haven't seen as much of her after the start of the game, and now she'll get a trip to the free throw line to shoot a pair.
She's so awkward to defend, and I mean that in the most complimentary way. Like, because she has the ability to shoot the three, she's a willing passer, and then when she goes to the rim, she seeks contact. She's got almost an awkward first step to get her into a shooting motion, so it's hard to anticipate and then separate as a defender. So inevitably you make contact with her, she gets her shot away and gets herself on the free throw line.
Of course, coming across from the Townsville Fire, where she averaged last year 9.5 points and 9.3 rebounds per game. Spent time at Stanford University a long time ago as well, and what a follow. She comes up with a turnover after the missed free throw, and the Flames get rewarded with 2.
But that's what she brings, right? That's the championship level hustle that just keeps the basketball alive. She gets her fingertips to it. Now a teammate recovers and they get a layup out of the play.
If you're just joining us as well, we're noting Emma Clark out for this one with a quad injury, but will be reevaluated before their game next weekend. And good take again from Collier, but no reward.
It's funny you mentioned Emma Clark. So last season she shot the three-point shot at 39%. So she was, dead-eye from downtown. It hasn't seemed to faze the Sydney Flames not having, her three-point shooting proficiency out on the floor.
Scary for the rest of the league when you're going to add her to this mix. Potch might have gotten away with a little extra step, or that might be the 0 step, but she'll go to the free throw line nonetheless. As we get a look at the takeaway, and it was really good hands, and when your centre can do that, take it away from the guard, pick the pocket, good to see.
And then continue to run the floor, right? So you've got Collier running in trail position to the Potch attempt. So if there was no whistle on that particular play, Collier's right there at 6'5" in the contest, 2 feet from the basket. It still has a potential to end up in a really good result for the Caps.
And she found Nadia Potches at the line now. Of course, came across from the Southside Flyers. Only averaged 18 minutes a game with the Flyers, so expecting her to get a big opportunity here for the Caps. Of course, was the 12th pick overall in the most recent WNBA draft to the Atlanta Dream.
Where she'll join head coach Paul Goris.
Nice little connection there. So no doubt he'll be invested in her developing across this season as well. On a couple of fronts. Kayla George turns the corner through traffic. Always looked a little strong. Ball bounces around like a pinball and eventually finds its way back to the Flames. Lead is single digits, so the Caps just slowly grinding away at it for the moment. Their defense has improved. Roof is 3 of 3 from deep. She misses one. Kayla George collects the O board and will go to the line to shoot 2. And Charlie Collier not too happy. And it's something we see a little bit from import bigs that come to Australia. It takes them a little while to adjust to the officiating.
Well, it does, and it's it's part and parcel with our competition. I think it's a sentiment globally that we've got a really physical brand of basketball that gets played here. So you've got the mix of both exceptional talent, great strategy from the coaches, but then physicality intertwined with all of that. And sometimes that can take an acclimation period when you haven't played this style for the bulk of your career.
And technical foul called amongst all of that as well. So there's another little reminder of and now it'll be an extra 2 here for Kayla George. So she'll get 3 looks from the free throw line.
Challenge for the Caps to just maintain their emotional control or stay regulated here. They've got themselves into a position where one small run can get them right back into this contest. You don't want to allow just I don't want to call it a brain explosion, but just a little moment of expressed frustration to keep the Flames just out of reach.
And you mentioned that frustration, that foul with the technical, the 2 stack on top of each other, is actually 4 now for Charlie Collier, as we see a nice hit from Diebel for the Caps. So she's got 4 fouls, and we're not even at half time yet, which it really hurts the Caps. On the other side of the ball, Celeste Taylor has 3 fouls, so that's why she is sitting at the moment.
The former Texas teammates.
Exactly, just getting used to the officiating here in Australia. Just saying Texas no more. Here's Ruth, and she comes through with the offensive rebound and scores 2. Takeaway from Swain. Hard to the basket, and will draw the foul. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
She's done a great job of being a threat. I mean, early in the game from the 3-point line, but then we've seen her go to dribble penetration a whole lot more, and she's got a really fast top speed, so when she gets going, she can be tough to go with. You just want, if you're Coach Paul Goris, some ball security, being able to coughing the basketball up in areas at the top of the key. It's hard to formulate your defense from there. There's not a plan that you can execute when it's an open floor ahead of the offense.
Swain misses the first. Both these teams well on track for a 100 v 100 at this point. Scoring it in bunches, no doubt about that. And as Swain takes a break, Diaz comes onto the floor for the Flames. Her first season in the WNBL. It's also committed to Arkansas, so congratulations to her going to a great basketball program in 2025. Nice little lefty scoop from Babongi, didn't go. And just struggling to create good open looks without Jade Melbourne on the floor.
Yeah, I liked that Tufeono got back into the contest and tried to keep that one alive. I think it's important to not be one and done with your possessions. When you coach a team that has so much youth on it, you can leverage a lot of your effort.
And Diebel again steps into a 3, so her second made triple of the game. She's up to 6 points, some really good minutes. 6 points in about 5 minutes from Diebel, so cuts the lead back to 8, and despite some struggles at times offensively, they're single digits at the moment, and it's an important last few minutes heading into the halftime break.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is going to be so important, right, for them to keep this scoreline at touch distance, give themselves an opportunity to try and go on a small run, and then then you're within 2 to 3 baskets.
And it's worth mentioning the 5 Goris has on the court at the moment: Babongi, Boya, Diebel, Jefferson, and Tofeano. So very, very, very young, but at the moment they're proving to get the job done.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you need to roll the dice. So when the game isn't going to plan, you've got an opportunity either to sit with the same scenario and it could take you down the same path, or roll the dice and try to get in some of your bench players, experienced or not, and see if they can provide either an energy spark or whatever it is that they do from an identity standpoint. Can they do those things and have an impact on twisting the game into your favour? It might be three-point shooting, it might be effort on possession play, it might be disruptive defence, but they're all there for a reason and they offer something different. Can you start to move the needle back towards your team's favour?
Always an interesting one as well when the bench five start to make a little run. How long do you let them play for? Must be tough as a coach to decide when to pull the trigger and bring the starters back in.
Well, that's the art of coaching, right? And I think in a lot of ways the global coaching space has delved towards the science and the analytics, but there's not as many artists or coaches that leverage the art of coaching to go with the science, and certainly Paul Goris is one that has that ability, and it's an important skill set to attain.
Came up with a turnover. I eagerly await the Art of Coaching released by Mark Alabakov. I hope that's a book coming soon to a store near you as the Flames pick up 2 more there. And there's an offensive foul called on the Caps. That'll go against Jefferson. A little interesting one for you as we look through the stats. Maya Morris, just the 4.5 minutes, 2 fouls and a turnover, so just easing her into the rotation.
Yeah, and I mean, look, with the foul trouble too, that would have been a catalyst to get her out of the game. But I mean, you alluded to it earlier, it can take some time for import athletes to get acclimated to this league, the talent within it, the physicality that you've got to play with, what is and isn't a foul when you play in this hemisphere of the globe. But with more sample size, I think you'll see these athletes like your Maya Morris be able to stay on the floor and be able to contribute.
No doubt about that. Another trip to the free throw line for the Flames. If you're wondering how we're still in the second quarter and there's still 1:03 to play, it's because the free throw attempts are through the roof at the moment. Sydney, 2 of 2 in the first quarter, have now attempted over 10 in this quarter alone. So both teams getting to the charity stripe, and it could become a big factor down the stretch. That ball loose, and a loose turnover from the Caps. And just as they were slowly bringing it back to single digits, Wayne, that's an awkward fall. Great effort to pick the ball back up, find a teammate momentarily, but the Caps come back up with it. Scrappy basketball at the moment, Mark.
It's a hot potato right now.
Kick to the corner. 3 ball on its way, left it short. It was Jefferson. Still searching for her first points in this game. And there's about a 5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. The Flames happy to slow things down and look to get a good basket. George, up fake was nice, has the kick to the corner, went the other way to Roof, hesitates, stops, pops, puts it in, and will go to the line for 1 more.
They're going to be a dangerous combination for the Flames, the Roof and George combo, knowing that they can both shoot the 3, they can both cut to the basket and post up. I mean, as we see in that particular play, dribble penetration, a cutting to the basket, Roof, and then they're great basketball players that make basketball plays.
No doubt about that. Inside 10 seconds here in the first half. The Caps have done a mountain of work to drag themselves back in it, but the Flames have extended the lead here. Broken possession. Tofayano wide open, took a dribble when she didn't have to. And Shanice Swain came across and said, "Not in my house." An eventful end to the first half. What was happening there, Mark?
Well, look, I think it's the indecision, right? And some of that comes from the scoreboard pressure that you deal with. You start to second guess and it breaks your rhythm and the natural flow of making decisions you'd regularly make.
So 56-44, the Flames, they came out and fired plenty of shots from deep to start the game, made that little buffer, and it looked like the Caps were going to cut into it in that second quarter, but a good final few minutes from Sydney means they hold that 12-point advantage. And our man on the ground, Nathan Stremple, has Michaela Roof.
Michaela Roof, first time back at the Flames in 10 years. The way you came out with 3 straight triples is almost like you're saying, honey, I'm home.
Well, when I first played here, I couldn't shoot threes, and I've been working on it in the last 10 years, so it feels good that they're going in.
It's been really good, but the way you and your teammate shot the 3-ball early really opened it up inside late. Yourself 5 offensive rebounds, and towards that second quarter, able to capitalise on the inside.
Yeah, I think so. I think, when we're shooting well, then they have to come out, and then when those driving lanes open up. So I think, we just have to keep taking advantage of that and reading what the defense gives us.
Enjoy the way you're going about it. All the best for the second half.
Thank you.
Half time, folks. It is the Sydney Flames 59 over the Capitals 44. Stay with us. A whole lot more coming up.
I'm on my prime, I'm feeling like Steph. I get my shot and I promise it's wet. Waited too long, but I told him I'm mess. I need my bag, it's want me to check. Cable was mine, I ain't taking less. I told them all I'm as well as it gets. This shit be a shit, dog, I'm cutting the net.
Alrighty, Flames fan, it's time for the forward Aussie Drive the Lane experience. We're going to show our handles on the board, and I have 2 ballers with me now. What is your name?
Ella.
And what's your name?
Georgia.
And do you guys play basketball?
Yeah.
What's your team?
Hoop Davis.
And where are you guys from?
Newcastle.
Whoa! Alright, can we hear it for Hoop Davis and our contestants here? Alright, so this is how we're going to do it, ladies. You can walk through with me. We're going to drive, shorter handles, we're dribbling. We come to this orange cone, we're going to do a move. Spin move, crossover, what do we feel like? And we go in for a layup, or ladies, if you feel like you can dunk as well. So let's do it one at a time. Ella, let's line you up first. We're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. Georgie, you'll be next. All right, everyone, can I please have you counting down with me? 3, 2, 1, let's go! Cheering on Ella, she is driving the lane, brought to you by Ford, your local Ford dealer. Okay, keep shooting, you've got 30 seconds! Come on, Sydney, let me hear you. Let's hear some clapping. Let's shoot for Ella now. Yeah, come on, so close. Let's go, Ella. Let's hear you, Flames fans, come on! You've got this, Ella. Time is counting, but you are looking good. So close. Keep shooting. You've got time. Don't rush it. We are bringing this to life thanks to Ford, your local dealer. Oh, so close. Here we go. Put it up. Oh! Crowd is going wild. Bring it back, Ella. That was stunning. High five. All right, Georgia. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's count Georgia down. Everyone with me. 3, 2, 1. Go, Georgia. Here she goes with these handles. My goodness. Oh, we're going in for the jump shot. Whoa! Everyone, hands together. Hey, she's got time. She can shoot more. Let's go. Show us these skills. Georgia, look at that. And can I just say, Georgia's got her own name on her finger there. That is some Flames merch. 5 seconds, 4, 3,
And welcome back to Qudos Bank Arena. It's the Sydney Flames who lead 59-44. If you're just joining us, my name's Matt Hickey. I'm joined by Mark Alabakov. Nathan Strempel is on the ground for us. And Mark, an entertaining first half as we get to take a look at some of the highlights from the first 2 quarters.
Well, very high scoring if you're a Flames fan. So they shot incredibly well from the 3-point line. Were able to do that off 18 assists. So the ball is moving through sets of hands. There's multiple scorers, and they're tough to stop right now.
And I tell you what, there might not be too many on the highlight reel, but if you're a fan of the free throw, which I'm not sure if there are many free throw purists out there, Sydney shooting 11 of 14 from the charity stripe. The Caps 12 of 13. They've been practicing in the off-season, Mark. Who would have thought?
And we love that as coaches, right? Free throws win games is often a mantra that gets passed around from a coach to their team.
Plenty of free throws in that second quarter as well between the 2 teams. The 3-point ball, we've spoken so much about it, and for good reason. 8 of 17 for Sydney. You said Caps 6 of 16, which isn't a terrible clip but when the opposition's shooting it the way it is, it doesn't always look as good.
Right, exactly right. And I think there was a conscious shift from the Sydney Flames to go away from just living and dying by the three-point shot. In quarter 2 alone, they were able to get themselves into the paints, and they've scored 24 points in the paint so far for this first half alone. And that has led to those free throw opportunities that you spoke of.
We look through some of the individual stats at the moment, and the Flames, well, they're doing it by committee, but it's Shanice Swain and Michaela Roof who've combined for 28 of their 59 points at the moment.
Yeah, but I mean, I talk about the 18 assists. The ball gets shared, so you've got those two who are scoring. You've got the 8 points to Pittman off the bench, who's done a tremendous job. 8 points to Kayla George. We know that she's got the ability to put points of 20 plus on the board for the team. So there's more to go to, and everybody's contributing already.
Really importantly this season for the Cygnett WNBL, they're taking a stance against domestic violence. Putting a stop to this is everyone's business, so make an effort to recognise warning signs, listen to survivors and speak up. For more info, you can head to Full Stop Australia. That's Full Stop Australia. You can scan the QR code that is on your screen as well. A really, really important initiative from the WNBL. So Full Stop Australia is your spot to go to there. It's been a thrilling first half. We've got plenty more action. Don't go too far away. It's coming up after the break.
University. I spoke to a bunch of teams, but nothing felt more right than returning back to Canberra. And it's something that I'm super passionate about. I love the people there, I love the community, I love the fans, and it wouldn't feel right to be heading back there wearing a different uniform. So that's why I've decided to be there. Goz is back on board, which I'm super excited about. He's recruited a great bunch of people, and to hold up a championship trophy in Canberra is something that I've thought about for a very long time, and I would hate to see Canberra do it without me. So that's a huge reason why I'm back. Great group of girls, and I'm excited to hit the ground running. The Olympic experience was incredible. It's a childhood dream come reality, and it was honestly the best 2 years of my career so far. You're playing with 11 girls that you've competed against, you've idolised, and just representing Australia is the pinnacle for me. Being in Opal is something I've dreamt of for a long time, and just being in an Olympic village surrounded by athletes that have all gone on their own unique journey to get to where they are, it was so special. And the basketball itself, you know, it's 6 games, you've got to be locked in for a full 2 weeks. It's stressful, it's fun, it's rewarding, you cry, you're happy, but overall it was unbelievable. And, you know, to walk away with a bronze medal and something to show for our efforts, yeah, I couldn't be more proud of the girls. You know, it takes a lot of hard work to get there. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned that you have to be ready no matter the outcome. You have to be ready for any situation. Sometimes you're going to be thrown in the deep end, you have to learn to swim, but that's all part of it. Like I said, I just enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, she's one of the most loved players both on and off the floor, Jade Melbourne. And Mark, she's having a pretty solid impact here today.
She is. She's got the 10 points, 3 of 7 from the field so far, but she's done a tremendous job of hunting those driving lanes that she's so explosive within in transition or as a secondary. Whenever the defense isn't back and set, she gets a chance to be able to put the afterburners on, and she's so tough to stop, and it does a tremendous job of being able to finish through contact, as we're seeing here.
Obviously coming off the back of a bronze medal in Paris and a WNBA campaign as well, and she's only going to get better. I think we forget sometimes that she's only 22 years old, so a very, very bright future, and the Opal point guard, you would think, for probably the next 10 years. So Jade Melbourne, no doubt all eyes will be on her for the remainder of WNBL 25 and the remainder of this game as well. Jade Melbourne, what a superstar. Fan MVP last year as well, just quietly in the WNBL. Now let's turn our attention to the Flames. We look through these numbers. We mentioned Michaela Roof, we mentioned Shanice Swain, both having a big impact. But there's some other players as well that have popped up. Kayla George doing her thing. Pittman off the bench, 8 points. Sherry Kalia, 7 as well. So getting lots of support.
Yeah, and they'll need that, especially in the absence of Emma Clark, who's such a vital part of their picture moving forward as well. So to have the likes of Kalia and Pittman come in and give you close to double-digit points, and you know may end up with double digits by the end of this game, really handy role players for the Flames.
And our man on the ground, Nathan Stremple, has a very, very special guest.
We used to see her out on court, but not playing today for the Flames because she is 16 weeks pregnant. Lauren Nicholson, congratulations, and how is pregnancy treating you?
Yeah, it's so far so good. I was a little bit sick in the first part, but I think I'm finally over that hump, and yeah, just happy to be here today supporting the girls.
And exciting news, a little boy on the way, so not a future Flame, but it must feel strange watching the team going at it while you're carrying your son.
Yeah, it is a little bit. You know, I'm enjoying sitting there watching, also definitely missing playing. Hopefully I can get back to that at some stage, but yeah, just one step at a time for now.
And you talk about hopefully getting back to playing. As an athlete now falling pregnant, the path now is so much easier amongst the league and clubs supporting women coming back to playing after having children.
Yeah, it is good having the support. It's come a long way in the last couple of years, which is really nice, and yeah, hopefully can get back to it as soon as possible.
Well, Lauren, we wish you all the best, and it's great to see the Flames doing well in your absence. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Brilliant to hear from Lauren Nicholson there, of course, Defensive Player of the Year last year, all WNBL first team, but it's an exciting reason to be there.
It is, and it's a great life experience for her and her partner. You know, I think it shifts your focus and it allows you to appreciate just the great part of being a parent. You know, parenthood is a wonderful thing that people get to experience in their lifetime.
Very exciting for Lauren Nicholson as this game restarts, and a good rebound from Chantal Horvat. She couldn't get it to go. I think Lauren Nicholson will be hoping that it's not a close game, because if she is watching from the sidelines, The nails are going to be getting chewed down in a close game. The knee's going to be tapping. She'll be wanting to get out there.
No doubt, no doubt. Once a player, always a player.
That's it. And hopefully see her back on the court. Michaela Roof scores 2 there. And the Flames just continue on their merry way. Pick up from where they left off. And Roof picks up from where she leaves off as well. And again, there's been a few occasions like that for the Caps where they've done all the right things, all leading up to the final execution that hasn't quite been there. There's a big hit off the ball. It's going to be on Kayla George, who doesn't protest too much. I think she knew that one was on there.
Yeah, she's a competitor as well and plays with physicality. You know, we love the way that she goes about it. But back to your point with the Caps, you know, when the ball is not falling, you can't be a victim of just that one and done possession. You've got to find ways to commit to keeping the basketball alive. You know, can you send people to the offensive glass? So you see another unforced turnover occur.
And one back the other way as well. A bit of tennis action here shown open. It's not for a few months. Horvat steps through. She likes that little move. Heavy contact. Officials letting them play as they have done throughout the opening round, which is great to see. Shanice Swain, a little quieter in the second corner, and it's a charge call.
Offensive foul is the call.
Very gutsy from Nicole Munger to get her feet in the road, find and establish a position and be able to take that contact, get the stop for her team, because that would have been a certain 2 points for Shanice Swain.
Is it any surprise that it was Nicole Munger who was the one taking the charge and ended up on the ground after taking a big hit?
Absolutely none. Absolutely none. But look, if you're the Caps, I mean, we were talking earlier about the unforced errors, so they've had the 9 turnovers already. The Sydney Flames have had a combined 19 points off turnovers and fast breaks. And when we look at the margin, that's the difference right now.
No doubt about that. Jade Melbourne steps into a 3. We didn't see a whole lot of that from her in the first half in her first make from distance, and if they can see a couple more of those go down, they'll be right back in this one as Horvat just got a tiniest little touch on it, wishing that she hadn't reached out as far as she did.
A fingernail to it, perhaps.
And you have a look at the replay, they go under the screen on Melbourne, and if she can continue to knock down that triple, when teams go under, it's going to create really good opportunities for her off that pick, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, and she backs herself. So she was 0 of 3 for the first couple, but good on her to still make the right basketball decision and pull the trigger.
But Bongi just flips it up, and we've got a wedgie.
Now, I think that should be worth points. That's really hard to do. To get the ball stuck like that, they should give the Caps 5 points for that.
5 points.
Really, really difficult to get done.
We're going to end up seeing players when they're down by a big margin coming up and just trying to toss the ball to get it into the wedgie. It's come off hands, I think, as well. And that, it's not even really wedged in, it's just resting very politely on top of the basket. There's going to be free throws to come. The points, despite what Mark Alabakov wants, will not count, and it'll be 2 free throws to count.
Well, like at practice, you give the team a basketball to try to knock that wedged ball out, and if you can knock it into the hoop, then you count the points.
I like it. I don't mind it. One of those type of things that you'd get to see brought in the preseason when they want to try and test some new rules out.
Innovation, right?
Great cut and a good find from Swain to Roof, and I think a foul as well. And that connection is really doing great things for the Sydney Flames.
It's starting to be warning signs if you're a Caps fan. The Flames are just starting to put the hammer down in terms of their execution. They're doing a wonderful job of cutting off the ball, so whenever 2 defenders have the interest rather of the ball handler, the Flames are doing a wonderful job of being able to find that cutter at the basket, layup territory or positions to be fouled.
It wasn't really a set offense. She was just a little slow trailing down the court and just went straight to the basket. Didn't really do it. It wasn't really a move into a cut. She just went straight to the rim.
Yeah, and I love that you say that. So these are, we'd call them concepts. So just rules that underpin everything that we do. When someone drives to the basket from this particular angle, these are the cutting actions that we want as automatic things within our play. And you try to condition those things within your team, knowing that they'll be profitable because the player that is cutting, it's usually their defender that has turned their head towards the ball handler, or they've jumped across to try to get in the road or try and get fingertips to it, and then you penalise them for playing defence that way.
So out of interest, in a pre-season, how much of your focus is on those concepts as opposed to we're running a set play, this is horns, this is whatever it could be?
Well, look, I think it's twofold. So one, it kind of leads into whatever your identity is and what you believe in as a coach, but certainly the concepts underpin system offenses or more flowing, motiony, perhaps random offenses that you like to run. So I used the term earlier that these are things that erode, so they can be ideas that you teach and that you try to rep out really early to condition that habit, and then they get touched on throughout the course of a practice week, almost like brushing your teeth. You do a little bit every day, right? So you do a little bit of work on your concepts, and it might be within a warm-up, or it might be with a bit of gameplay attached to it.
Great insight from Mark Alabakov there as the Caps look to just cut into this lead, and they won't do it on this occasion, stepping out of bounds. Final game of round one of the Cygnett WNBL. It's been an exciting opening round, and I'll tell you what, all this scoring as well. We're set for a really thrilling season of basketball, and we're hoping here that the Caps can just make this one a little bit interesting down the stretch. 6.5 minutes to play in the third. They get it back to single digits. Heading into the final quarter, it's game on, but Kayla George says, well, I'll be having none of that, thank you very much. 18-point lead now, getting it out of hand. Munger with an important hit and continues just to do everything at a really high rate.
Look, it is, and that's a big shot, or a big make rather, by her. But the worry, if you're watching this, is like that can be a false economy. Like there was no other action, there wasn't a play necessarily being run, and the ball went to her. And God love her, in the interest of trying to will her team back into the contest, pulls up and takes that shot, but no other teammate touched the basketball. So if you're the Caps, there's none of us that are as good as all of us, so to speak. So sharing the basketball and sharing the load and getting synergy between 5 people is always going to have far more of a positive outcome for you over 4 quarters.
Still yet to see a whole lot of Jemima Morris, just the 4.5 minutes. And Nadia Potts, just the 2 shots so far in this game, so we should see how that develops down the stretch. Collier, help's going to come from Swain, and she calls the turnover. Pushing back the other way, great find, great cut, and Michaela Roof scores 2. The Flames having it all their way at the moment. They lead 68-50 halfway through the third quarter. Back at Qudos Bank Arena, it's the Sydney Flames in front of their home fans, kicking off their season with a bang at the moment. They lead 68-50 halfway through the third quarter, and just looking to control this game down the stretch. Mark Alabakov, if you were the coach of the Caps, what's the message at that little timing?
Well, look, you've got to take care of the basketball, and that's really easy to say, so that might be limiting their thinking. So talking about we're going to run whatever the offensive system is that Coach Paul Boris prefers, like A or B, so you narrow down their focus for simplified action. Everybody can stay on the same page, all can be shared, but being strong with the basketball becomes so important. They've had the 11 turnovers, which doesn't seem like a huge deal, but the disciplined running and attack mode of the Flames every time the ball's been coughed up. I mentioned earlier, a combined fast break points and points off turnovers of 29 for the Flames. It's what's got them out to this almost unassailable lead at this particular point in the game.
We've got to relatively rare double timeout on the floor as well, which is, I haven't seen Guy Malloy, a coach up by 18 points, that animated before, but he had plenty to say to the officials, and Michaela Rufa, what a game that she has had so far in this one. 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from the three-point line, playing a fantastic game here in the season opener, and we are finally now back underway here in the third quarter, 5.5 to play. Well, no call there. Had to have been a charge, a block, or a flopping warning potentially, but I don't think we got any of it. So play on. And a missed shot from Jade Melbourne. So the Flames will now look to push this outside to 20 points. Our man Nathan Schrempel was listening in to the Caps. Nathan, what did you hear?
Well, Mark Alabakov knows what he's talking about. He's predicted what was said in the timeout. He's pretty much spot on. I was standing listening, and the key message from Paul Goris with this young group is their communication off the ball. We saw the Flames getting opportunities in the paint due to a lack of communication, as we see it happen again right there, even out of that timeout. But he said if you don't talk to each other, you're not going to be able to counter that defensively.
Thank you, Nathan. And, well, to give you some insight, Mark's in here with his crystal ball, and he's got the inside, he knows what's coming up, he's all over it, and on cue as well, that defensive lapse, as we see the Caps finally get 2 back there.
The communication piece, it begins with who's guarding the basketball, right? So it can be it's simple, but it's not easy. Call ball when you know that you have it, because that relays clarity down the line, and that lets your teammates know what you're doing, so then, in effect, they can go to other assignments behind you. But when you watch, especially in the half court, the amount of wide open cutting actions, that UCLA action that we saw earlier, the back screen and the cutting player that ball's been thrown to them for layup attempts throughout this ball game, that begins and ends with a lack of ball pressure. So where there's not clarity on whose job that is, it's hard to really tighten the screws, and then inevitably, everything breaks down around you. So it shows the experience, and we talked about the art of coaching. It's not anything magical, but the first line of becoming a team is getting that line of communication going from top to bottom, especially to formulate your defense behind the ball, and it's why Paul Goris is as successful as he has been.
Cal George at the free throw line. Good chance for us to see Yamai Morris back on the court. Just played 4.5 minutes in this game, so hopefully they look to get her the ball. Lead by 24 left here in the third. Caps a stagnant possession again. We've seen this a few too many times. A high looping ball, single digits on the shot clock. Bowie with a tough take, and Morris with the rebound. Great kick ahead, and once again transition points, open layups, and the Flames, they're going to be a tough team to stop if they keep getting open looks like that.
Right, but there's a case in point, so no one picked up the basketball, so the handler was able to look ahead and almost window shop for who they wanted to throw to, cleared all the hands of defenders, and they get a layup out of the play.
Window shop is a nice way of putting it, and they've had that a bit as Tofayano throws no one in particular, but they've been able to really take their time with that heaps of ball pressure and find good options. And I think as well the product of that three-point shooting at the start has resulted in the Caps being a little bit more conscious of playing up and in and not giving them space, and all of a sudden we've had, I don't know how many back cuts, but plenty that are resulting in wide open layups.
Right, and that's where the chess game comes into it, right? The art of coaching. If you're going to climb into us, we have dribble penetration, we have back cutting. If you sit off of us, we've got the opportunity to shoot the three-point shot or run multiple actions to get you in positions where you miscommunicate, and then we get what we want anyway.
And to give that context, the Flames have actually only made 1 three-point basket since quarter time, and they've extended the lead out to 22. So it shows in terms of their ability to get to the rim, it's been a big factor through the second and third quarter. Here's Melbourne after an offensive rebound. Can she get something going for the Capitals? Step back three. Gets it to drop. Jade Melbourne, another basket for her. She's up to 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists.
A smart job by Ella Tofayano to twist her ball screen.
And another backdoor cut. They're not even giving you a chance to speak.
Right. Right, I mean, I'm verbose at the best of times, but I mean, that's just fantastic conditioning. So when there's dribble penetration and it comes through the elbow, you've got a 45 cutter, so the cutter that comes through the wing on the opposite side. So whenever their player draws or turns rather their interests to the ball handler, then that player cuts, and inevitably it puts pressure, it creates a 2-on-1 with the defender that's closest to the basket, and it leverages layup after layup or hook past three-point shots as soon as the defense becomes privy.
And you've got a great look at that Jade Melbourne basket on the Amy replay. They went under and she went bang. So again, Jade Melbourne, she wants plenty more of those. Maybe a few more Amy replays for her to come if they're going to get back into this game, and she scores the 2 there.
And a much better offense there from the Caps. The ball moved side to side. You got into a deeper pick and roll, which is hard to switch. And then it allows Jade Melbourne to be able to get all the way to the tip of the rim.
Good defensive set so far here for the Caps. Can they get a stop? George, that is a tough look. Got her own rebound, flipped it up. And she'll go to the line to shoot 2. The persistence pays off there for Kayla George. And always a great sign when you're a veteran, even though you're up by 20, is more than happy to follow her own shot.
Yeah, absolutely, and stay within the contest. So she puts the ball to the floor, steps through on Horvat, but then stays in the picture. So when her feet land, she goes after the basketball a second time. Now, when you're defending against that type of athlete, it's rarely the first shot that beats you. You've got to do a good job of being able to wall up and contest it as best you can without contact, but then you've got to turn your focus into boxing out or blocking out, depending on what terminology you prefer, to not allow that secondary offensive rebound, and then that's the one that usually ends up in a higher percentage, or it usually is a more fallible position that you end up in.
And Kayla George, from the surface, hasn't seemingly had a massive game, but putting together some nice numbers. Already a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. So really efficient night from her. Hasn't had to be the top option as Tofayano draws the foul on Maya Morris. That's her 3rd. Celeste Taylor with 4, and Charlie Collier has fouled out with 5, by the way. That happened earlier this quarter after she picked up the technical in the second quarter. So Tofayano, a trip to the free throw line for her. Spent last year with the Townsville Fire, played 4 games. Didn't hit the scoreboard, but scored her first WNBL points, I believe, here in this one.
And she's physical, she's a possession player. She does a really good job with her footwork close to the basket, as you saw in that particular play. But I like that she's backed herself and she's been able to make the right basketball play when it's come for her.
Turnover and a pass at the feet. Not much Jade Melbourne could do with that. And Chantal Horvat just goes over and says, that one is on me. But Ella Tofayano, I mean, you look at a play like this coming off the bench, not getting a mountain of minutes, but at NBL 1 level, 15.6 points per game, 11.2 rebounds per game. And that really shows the level of talent across the board. There are a lot of players just waiting for that opportunity to get here on the big stage.
Yeah, and I mean, as I mentioned, I love the aggressiveness that she's played with, looking for a shot or having the confidence to be the final link in the chain. I think that mentality that she's got, I'd like to see out of Charlie Collier as well. I think as a duo with some physicality and a presence close to the basket, they can develop into something really handy for this Caps team.
Speaking of great young talent, there's Indy Boya, who buries that shot. She was with the Fire as well last year. She has been a DP player for both the Fire and the Flames, so 7 games last year, and another player for the Townsville Flames in the NBL 1, a 15-point per game scorer alongside Ella Tofayano. And look at the battle between Tofayano and Maya Morris down low. Mark, you mentioned you're a fan of wrestling. Well, you got a little bit of it there because they were in a serious tussle and lock-up underneath the basket. 17-point lead and likely to hold for 1 here. There's about a 4 or 5 second differential between game clock and shot clock here for the Flames. Sherry Kalia to Kayla George for 3. Yamaya Morris, a big rebound. Good to see her go at the basket, and the soft touch goes. Caps have got to go, and they've got to go fast. Not long to go. Boya's got to toss it up. Beats the clock, but doesn't drop. And an enthralling game so far that at the moment has been dominated by the Flames. They lead 81-62 after 3 quarters.
Nicholson, Sydney. Let me see you dance now. We are scanning the ground. Come on. Y'all ready to win? Let me see it. Big prizes. I want to win. I want to win. Show me you want to win more than I want to win. Let's have a look. We are searching. Who wants it? Congratulations! You are taking home the prize. But that's not all, Sydney. 2 more prizes up for grabs. Let's have a look at the next one. Oh, I like this one. Canon compact selfie printer. Who wants it? Y'all ready to win? This is pretty cool. This is like instantly printing your photos. I need this one. Mom and the baby! You're the winner! You've got plenty of baby photos. You need this printer. Last prize. Dig deep, Sydney. It's time for the Canon EOS Twin Kit R100 camera. Who's taking this one home? This is the camera, guys. Dads! We want to see, are y'all ready to win? Thanks to Harvey Norman. Yeah, we are dancing front row. Who is taking this one home? Come on, you're gonna dance more than that. Come on, this is a camera. Canon, Harvey Norman, supported by Canon. They are giving away some big prizes. You are taking it home. Number 7 in the race. That camera is yours. Thanks for playing, Sydney. All brought to you by Harvey Norman and supported by Canon.
Hello and welcome back to Qudos Bank Arena. The Flames in front of their home fans, they are dominating at the moment. They lead 81-62 in what has been an up and down game, plenty of scoring. As you can tell by that scoreline, you don't need me to tell you that. They won that third quarter 22-18, and we go now to our Dream Courts Play of the Day. And Mark, no surprise, it's a Michaela Ruth story.
Yeah, and she's so dangerous from that distance, and being able to have the capacity to play her or Yamaya Morris or Kayla George all in that 5 spot, it allows Ruth to be able to play from the perimeter. She's got a good driving to the basket game, but then as you see there, she's able to knock down the 3 when she's got time and space.
Michaela Ruth with the Dream Courts Play of the Day. She's up to 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and no doubt that taking home the Dream Courts Play of the Day should go to the top of the resume for Michaela Ruth, as we're just about ready to restart the 4th term. It'll be the Caps with the first possession. They trail by 19 points. And Mark, in that third quarter, we saw some big performances from a couple of players.
We did, and I think the cream rises to the top. So Kayla George, after halftime, comes out and has 14 points in that third quarter alone to take her tally to 22. And then Jade Melbourne had 8 points in the quarter on the other end. So for that third quarter alone, the Caps only lost it by 4 points, and they lost the second quarter by 1 single point. It was all the damage done in Q1 that has kept the margin out to what it is now.
Yeah, that 35-21 opening quarter. And to give you, again, some context, since that 7 of 13 from deep start, and that's a good find and cut, and we want to see more of that from Koch. Gets on the ball with another 2 there. Since that 7 of 13 3-point shooting start from the Sydney Flames, they've gone 1 of 10. So it's been a slow going for them deep since that opening period, but hasn't really mattered in the end because, to be honest, they've got wide open layups time and time and time, and one more time again.
Exactly right. But I think, when you're Coach Paul Goris and you're coaching a team that's got so much youth talent on it, you can leverage the effort and the athleticism that they play with. So being able to make a high priority of any missed 3-point shots that generally land as a long rebound, you've got to get that and run like you've been shot out of a cannon. Get down the floor as quickly as you can and get on the tip of the rim.
Kayla George, good hands in there from Bo. That ball's going to bounce. The bounce will stay with the Flames, but it was a 3-on-1, so they've done a good job just to slow down possession as Kayla Ruth steps back in. 21 minutes, 22 points, 3 of 5 from deep. She's having a fantastic game, picking up from where she left off in the NBL 1 North, where she averaged 18 points, 21 rebounds, and 7 assists per game.
Well, the word you used earlier, efficient, right? Just a portrait of efficiency in this ball game, and it speaks to her. You see her on cue make a layup, cutting to the basket. It speaks to the experience, right? And she's not the oldest of players, but we often say that when things slow down from an athleticism standpoint for athletes towards the twilight of their career, or once they've had a decade of some high-level performance. The thing that doesn't change is the high level of decision-making and the high level of IQ if you've got it. And she certainly does. She's a great passer of the basketball. She's a three-point shooter who can knock it down. She still hustles and keeps basketballs alive or gets to the rim off the dribble. There's a reason why she's been at the upper echelon of the WNBL, but also our national program for the better part of a decade plus.
No doubt about that. Good takeaway here from the Caps. Just trying to cut into this lead, maybe just manufacture the lead back down to single digits, and having easy baskets like that, and Potch now starting to have a little bit of an impact. So get yourselves close enough and then roll the dice down the stretch. They force another turnover here. So hopefully things starting to turn if you are the Caps fan and you are part of the Caps organisation.
Now, there's nothing that you're going to run from a structure standpoint or set plays or what have you that's going to be worth 17 points. So to get into this margin and try to get the Caps back into this ball game, it's not going to come from any magic wand plays. It's going to come from that floor running that I alluded to earlier. And that can come off rebounds, but it can also come off either a defensive change-up or some disruption. So a roll of the dice from Coach Paul Goris is going to be the commitment to trying to get out and run or keep possessions alive on the offensive glass. Those two things alone tend to eat into the margin when it's at a deficit like now.
Back down to 15. Haven't seen a heap of Celeste Taylor, and she stepped out of bounds there on the baseline, but we know, on the sideline, apologies, we know how good she's going to be, playing with 4 fouls at the moment. Only had the 17.5 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. So again, another look here for the Caps, and slowly, if you can find a basket again here, get it back under 15, it's going to be game on. That is not the possession they wanted. There is Taylor having an impact, the foul on Melbourne, and she'll go to the line to shoot to her first trip to the charity stripe.
Unfortunately for the Caps, yet another unforced error, and we mentioned that those turnovers that turn into points at the other end, it's essentially the big part of the margin in the ball game right now, and credit to Sydney having a commitment to being in attack mode. When they do something disruptive, get fingertips to the basketball, they're off to the races.
Taylor to the free throw line, makes the first, and it's been free throws aplenty for both teams. That's 18 of 21 now for the Flames after only having 2 attempts in the first quarter. So really it's been a game of that opening quarter, letting it fly from deep, and now in the next 3 quarters a real healthy serving of getting to the free throw line. Here goes Melbourne, again just ran into trouble. Kayla George has been fantastic all game at coming up with those tips and those steals. She's playing the passing lanes very, very well. Only attributed with 1 or 2 steals at the moment and 2 blocks, but she's had her hand in a few more turnovers than that, I would have thought. 6.5 minutes to play here in the final game of round 1 of the Cygnett WNBL, the 24-25 season, and just as you sing the praises of a player, Mark, they turned the ball over. It's good to see that the commentary curse lives on well and truly.
Right, but look, I mean, it's still, you could see something good was going to happen. So if you're Coach Guy Malloy, you're going to wear that and not try to kill the spirit of the player by overcoaching a possession like that.
Free ball on its way, and it's good there for the Caps. And while we've got a moment, a good chance to throw down to get his thoughts on the game. A man who actually spoke at my school many moons ago, Nathan Strimple. How have you seen this one so far?
It's been great play. The Caps just trying to stay with it, but the Flames consistently, each time the Caps kind of bridge the gap, the Flames able to pull away.
No doubt about that. They've just shown times where they're getting closer and slowly getting themselves back into it, but it has been the Flames who have been able just to hold them at arm's distance at the moment. So another turnover. Things getting a little bit sloppy, and we do have a timeout here on the floor, so a chance for everyone just to take a breath, relax, talk things over. It's back to 14, so the Capitals maybe have one final push left in them. Of course, this is the final game of round 1. mark. We look ahead to round 2. All tips off on Wednesday night between the Perth Lynx and the Townsville Fire, but we're stacked with basketball. Basketball on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday for round 2. It's going to be pretty exciting, isn't it?
Don't we love it? And we strap in and we get Cygnett WNBL action each of those nights. And, you know, we're in this part of the season in these early days where we don't really know what to expect. So what we're seeing in these early games and some of the wins for teams that you might consider an upset or losses for teams that might seem, you know, like they're the world caving in, it's not the case whatsoever. It's a small sample size of what's going to, I guess, flesh out over the course of the season. It's the start of a new chapter for all these teams. I think the bulk of the competition, less perhaps the Perth Lynx, have got brand new additions to their roster. Their identities changed. There's some new head coaches in the competition with Chrissy Harrower at the Flyers, returning Paul Goris here with the Caps. You know, we're waiting to get at least a good month's worth of basketball before things tend to shake out and you see who's who in the zoo, who's rebuilding, and then who's really going to contend for this season's championship.
And the reigning champs would be happy that they've got a doubleheader after that really disappointing loss against Perth. They tip off on Thursday against Geelong, and then they play again. They host the Sydney Flames, who we are watching right now on Saturday. That one at the State Basketball Centre. So turnover there from the Caps. Geez, they would have loved to have come out, scored a basket, got it back to 12 or 13 and really rolled the dice. But they're up and in defensive pressure, is just doing enough at the moment to keep things a little interesting. Swain has had as I say that, turnover on cue. Kayla George was one out of bounds, and the Flames have got to be careful not to take the foot off the gas here.
Yeah, look, with 5 minutes left, it's not out of reach for the Caps, and we talked about their one run away from being able to change the landscape of the game. You know, it may not put them in a position where they hit the front right off the jump, as we see a fantastic layup there by Nadia Poch. But it changes the psychology. You know, it tightens up things for the Flames players as this margin starts to trim away.
Poch into double digits. George just with the settling basket. You get it to your veteran, and she comes up with the 2 right when they needed her. Poch, I thought, was going to look at launching that triple. Doesn't shoot heaps of them. Now does look to shoot it. Can Poch get the hot hand? No. And Kayla George, another rebound. What a second half Kayla George is having. Up to 16 points now. So make that 18 points and over 10 rebounds. So a great double-double. And she'll get another look here to Swain. Shanice Swain. Those were the ones that were dropping in the first quarter. She had an incredible first 10 minutes. Had 8 points and 3 assists. It slowed a little bit then, but a good showing from her after a limited opportunity with injury last season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm rapt for her that she's got the opportunity to show what she can do. She's been a dangerous scorer at NBL 1 level, and then now she gets a chance to ply her trade here in the WNBL in a different lineup, a different role perhaps to what she had played in years gone by. But a fantastic addition to, or re-addition rather, to this Flames program.
And it's exciting for the Flames as well when you have a look. The bulk of the scoring has come from Ruth Swain and George, and your 2 imports in Taylor and Yamaya Morris haven't necessarily had a massive impact. So when they get up to speed, all of a sudden this Flame team, it becomes pretty dangerous.
And don't forget that you've got Emma Clark yet to come back into the lineup as well.
Yeah, missing today with a quad injury, but she'll be re-evaluated next week. The Swain swings through for 2. We hope to see Emma Clark back out on the floor in her 5th WNBL season next weekend. And a nice reply from the Caps, so just staying within touch for the moment, Mark.
They are, and you know, look, it's now at the 11 points. It's not an unassailable lead at this point in time, but it goes to show you just how valuable coming out from the blocks and getting off to a great start is for teams. And then perhaps it's the age-old youth versus experience argument, but you know, where it took a whole quarter for the Caps to find their way and defend the 3-point line a little better and have the Flames go away from that 3-point shot, you know, to kind of lend them the favour. The margin was already out, and then you're kind of chasing your tail from there, right?
As we see an offensive foul there from Swain. And interesting you mentioned that. Since the first quarter, it's actually tied up in terms of the scoring. So it was 35-21 in the first period, and that margin remains at 14 as we take a look at the Amy replay, and it was that settling 3 from Michaela Roof when you need a basket, you toss it to one of your veterans. She's up to 25 points, and she is just knocking them down, and a beautiful stroke there on the annual replay.
Right, and it's the youth versus experience piece, right? Like when you need somebody to make a play, she's got a history of over a decade in this league of being able to do that.
And Guy Malloy, I think, is going to want to talk things over. He was not happy with the defensive effort on that shot, because this game, it's not over just yet. 92-81. It's game on at Qudos Bank Arena. The Caps are not going away, which is great to see, because last season they had a few blowouts, including a game against the Flames. Their last meeting on January 19th, they lost 90-65. It was a blowout, but this is good signs for a team who last year lost their fair share of games by big margin.
Yeah, and they're winning the quarter right now, so that's a huge thing to be able to build off of. The margin is just over the 10-point kind of barrier that I think can create a whole lot of psychological pressure. But you know, if you're the Flames, you're wanting to stay pedal to the metal. You're wanting to keep that attack mindset and not play not to lose, continue to play the game to win. And I know that sounds really layman to say, but it's a mentality thing that drives a lot of your decision making. If you're the Flames, you're probably wanting to explore what you can get in transition. It might get you on the free throw line and stop the game, but if you're playing against the Caps in the half court, run offensive patterns that have long continuities to them. The ball changes side from left to right, right to left, and what have you, and eat up all of the shot clock, because the game clock is your friend right now.
And high scoring as well. 5 of the 8 teams to start round 1 have scored 80-plus points, which, when you expect teams to be a little bit rusty coming off a pre-season and trying to figure out their offense, that is a good sign for the rest of the season. There's no doubt about that. Let's see what the Flames can draw up. It's Kayla George, and once again, the Opal buries a triple that just steadies the ship for the Flames.
Now, to the contrary of that point that I made for what you would be looking to do if you were the Flames, you want to do the opposite of those things if you're the Caps. Find ways to get into quick hitting scoring actions, find ways to be able to be disruptive and try to turn over the Flames to get the ball back into your hands so you have more opportunities to score and make up this deficit.
We spoke pre-game about Nicole Munger and potentially getting a little bit more offense out of her. But she's had a terrific game off the bench, around 20 minutes, 24 points now, and she has not let up, and that is a good sign for the Caps moving forward. If she can come out and average 15+, all of a sudden that gives them another big element on offense, as we see Potch drive hard and will go to the line to shoot too.
Yeah, look, it really does, and she's a role player that comes in and brings the hustle effort, but she can hit the three and get hot. I think she's up to 6 made 3-point shots in this one, so she's got the ability to be a scoring threat. But kind of as I mentioned with Jade Melbourne, where she's playing with more offensive weapons on her team, she herself is going to find more time and space to be a deadly threat.
Putting together a very solid game, and does it at a really high clip as well. 6 of 9 from deep as well. So fantastic performance so far from Nicole Munger, of course, a 2-time NBL 1 East MVP. Lead is at 12 at the moment. We're inside 2 minutes to play here at Qudos Bank Arena to round out the first round of the Cygnett WNBL 24-25 season. Swain, good drive, good penetration, good kick. And those are the ones that normally go down, just because basketball, the gods tend to say that you run good offense and the basket tends to drop. It doesn't on that occasion. Our man Nathan Stremple is down on the ground and was listening in during that timeout.
Love the veteran leadership from Guy Malloy during the timeout, just saying, forget the score, forget how long's left. We just need to execute this play with conviction. A great example of mindfulness, bringing his players back to the moment, play by play, to close this one out.
Thanks, Nathan. Really great insight there into Guy Malloy and how he operates his timeouts and operates within his system. Just wanting them to take a breath, and they've gone to their veterans late in the fourth quarter, and it's worked because they've managed to keep the Caps, who have made a big run here in the last quarter, just at arm's reach. The lead back to 12 now, 97-85. Flames looking to hunt triple digits as well. Is this it for Brent Catazano? Yes, it is. The 100 up. Raise the bat. Thank you very much. Sydney Flames, much to the joy of the home crowd.
And she's dangerous. You can't give her time and space to get that shot away. I mentioned earlier, out of the past decade where she's really plied her trade in the NBL 1 South, or previous to that, the SEABL competition, she's been almost automatic, shooting the three-point shot most seasons at 40% or above. Just such a deadly threat from that downtown region where you always have to be conscious of where she is. You've got to find her in transition, you've got to play tighter to her, and you have less help responsibility. If she can come in and do that as a stretch the floor shooter here, she can play a really valuable role for the Flames this season.
Great to see her back in the league. Hasn't played in the WNBL since 2015-16, so looking to take that opportunity with both hands. Kayla George getting creative, pull-up jumper. She's had things her own way here in the second half, up to 23 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Tell you what, if there was WNBL Supercoach, she'd be on points aplenty at the moment. 17-point lead for the Flames. They've done a great job of just controlling this last quarter. The Caps made a move, but it just wasn't enough down the stretch. A takeaway here from the Flames. And the Caps certainly not going away anytime soon. We have a jump ball as we go inside 20 seconds to play now, Mark. And both teams, plenty to take out of this, as always, after the first game, plenty to improve on, but positives on both sides of the ball, despite the Caps going down by a double digits here.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, credit to the Caps staying in the fight. Putting 85 points on the board is enough to win a game, but you can't obviously allow a team to get that 102. Now, where did that come from? It's the youth piece. It's the piece of not adjusting quick enough, or perhaps having an attention to detail really early to defend the three-point line. Sydney gets hot. They hit 7 of them in the first quarter, and then the controllable, perhaps unforced errors. It's led to a lot of transition baskets for the Flames, and that's where the margin has ended up.
So game 1 and round 1 in the books here for both the Flames and the UC Caps, and it's the Sydney Flames 102-85 victors. They jumped out of the blocks. They won the first quarter by 14. The Capitals were with them for the next 3, but that opening margin just proved a little too much to get across and breach, and it was because the Flames got 7 of 13 from deep in the first quarter. They had plenty of contributors as well. Michaela Ruth, 25 and 10. Kayla George, 23 and 11 rebounds. Shanice Swain, 15 points, 9 assists as well. So she did a little bit of everything. The Caps, it wasn't all doom and gloom. They had their moments. Jade Melbourne, well, she's always going to go out and get hers at 20 points, 6 rebounds and 4 assists. 102-85, as you mentioned, Mark, great scoring from both teams. The Caps, they'll really want to lock down on those wide open looks that the Flames just had far too many of, which you were mentioning and talking about. And those fixes are relatively easy for the most part.
Yeah, and I mean, look, that's where I talk about this being the first step of teams' journeys. So this match could absolutely, when we look back on it in hindsight, be an outlier performance that then drives the Caps to getting everything back on track, and certainly their communication and then their ball security. And those are two things that will improve, and I'm sure Coach Paul Goris will address during the week, and you'll see a better outfit from that. But unfortunately in this one, it's paid too much of a price on the scoreboard and allowed the Flames to get out to triple digits and a hard scoreline to be able to chase down.
Yeah, you won't want to be allowing 102 points very often throughout the season for the UC Caps, there's no doubt about that. But as you mentioned, just the first round and plenty of basketball ahead of both teams. Our player of the game, no surprises here. Well, it was a tight contest, I think, between Michaela Ruth and Kayla George, but Nathan Stremple has Kayla George, who had 23 points and 11 rebounds.
Kayla George, player of the game, 23 and 11. 20 of those coming after quarter time when your teammates had a hot shooting start. As captain of the group, must feel good to get this first one done.
Yeah, I feel like before, in pre-season, you always kind of think about that first game, so it's been on the calendar for a while. It's nice to have a good hit out, and yeah, it was nice to get the dub for sure.
You set it up in the first quarter, a 35-point first quarter, ball movement excellent, knocking the triple down from outside and multiple teammates getting involved. Was that nice to see the chemistry of the group?
Yeah, definitely. Look, we're a really new group. We're quite a young group. So yeah, to see it go through the whole in that first part from everyone, really anyone that just chucked it up there was going in, so it felt great. We had to combat a bit of momentum from Canberra. Obviously, they're a great team as well, so Yeah, I think that a few iffy moments at the end there, a few decision-making things, but I think that's just, coming with being a group and being together and having that experience.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but first time playing with Michaela Roof, because your chemistry in the front court looked amazing.
Me and Roof for the last 8 years, honestly, but no, it's great to be a teammate for sure.
It was great to see Kayla. Well done on getting the win.
Thank you so much, mate.
Speaking of Michaela Roof, we'll bring at half-time, kept it going inside-outside in the second half. You may or may not know, lodged up your 1,500th career point in the WNBL. Well done.
Woo! That's pretty good, I guess.
Just talking to Kayla about, you spent years going at each other as opponents. It must be enjoyable to have each other as teammates in the front court.
Yeah, I think so. I think Kayla and I, we actually have a similar game, style of play, so it's really nice to play with somebody that has the same IQ as me, has the same thought process as me. It's been enjoyable so far.
And we also mentioned at half-time, it was 10 years ago you first played for the Flames. Talk to us about how different it feels playing here in a doubleheader at Qudos Bank Arena.
Oh man, it's insanely different. When we played at the uni, very small, just one side of bleachers. So to see, the way the club has grown and coming to this massive arena, I think it's just amazing.
1-0, Michaela, great way to start off this season at the Flames. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Nathan Stremple down there on court with two of the stars of the game. Michaela Roof, Kayla George combined for 28 points. 48 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and 7 of 14 from deep. Pretty impressive. Now, if you had to have a player of the week, Mark, out of those two, let's just say from this game, Ali Wilson, very impressive, plenty of great options, but is it one of those two who takes the cake?
Look, I think it is. It's going to be tough to pick which one. As I'm looking at both of their sets of statistics, you've got George, who had the 23 points, the 11 rebounds, 4 of them offensive, and the offensive rebounds are really important. Has the 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, but she did it in 39 minutes and 45 seconds. Roof gets you the 25, 10, and 5 assists, 2 steals of her own, but did it in 10 less minutes.
Call it a tie?
I mean, yeah, why don't we give it to both of them?
I tell you what a way to blow out the cobwebs if you're Kayla George. Come out, you play 39 minutes and 45 seconds. You might have a little word to Guy Malloy just after the game saying, hey, coach, it's a long season ahead. Just give me a chance to get into things.
She'll be the first to book into the physio tomorrow.
I think so, no doubt about that. If we look at the Caps, Jade Melbourne, as we said, 20 points, 6 of 12 shooting, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Did as much as probably she could and you could have asked of her. She's going to average those numbers probably for the rest of the season. It wasn't overly flashy and wild performance from her where you sit back and go, wow, what an impact, Jade Melbourne. She did certainly have an impact, but that's probably the baseline we expect from Jade Melbourne.
Yeah, and look, they're going to find their way and get better chemistry as time goes on and they have more of a sample size of playing together. Horvath comes out, she has the 8 points and the 5 rebounds. I think she's going to get better as time goes on. Collier, it's her first game within the WNBL, so she only has the 2 points and 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 of 4 from the field per se. She also is going to get better. So there's a bright future for the Caps to continue to climb up the ladder, but I think we'd be
remiss not to
mention, that's the word I'm looking for, Nicole Munger, 24 points, absolutely stellar job that she's done off the bench, coming in, hits the 6 threes, takes charges, competes for loose balls. I mean, she's really valuable in her role and she can get off and lead the scoring for them if she has to, but the idea is that with all the talent they've got now, she won't need to.
And when a player like that who does all the intangibles can come up with 24 points as well, very, very impressive. And worth mentioning as well, Shanice Swain just 1 assist off a double-double.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, she was tremendous and she's going to be vitally important, as I mentioned earlier, in the absence of Lauren Nicholson, and the scoring that she was able to provide from the perimeter for the Flames. Swain comes in and does that in a different way.
We have a look at the results for round 1. The Flames and the Caps are rounding out an entertaining, very high scoring round 1 as well. We saw Townsville on Wednesday night take home the victory. The Spirit and the Lightning, that was a closer game than that 14-point margin suggests. That was really entertaining. Positive signs for the Lightning, who did have Steph Talbot. The Spirit didn't have Kelsey Griffin. Hopefully they're both back on the floor very soon. The Lynx, who we've mentioned a few times, really big win over the Flyers. And of course today, the Flames over the Caps. What result out of those stands out the most to you?
Look, I think The Perth one overnight, I think, is probably the most, because in terms of disruption to the playing roster, they've had the least, and I believe are returning the most amount of players from the team that went to the grand final last season. So, when I say standout, it's the chemistry of being able to keep your core together, and then how quickly you can get on the same page. And we talked about the opposite of that, right, with the Caps today. I mean, that was to their detriment, finding their way in these really early stages. But where you can keep a core of players together and just be able to make subtle changes to one or two athletes, I think it's worth its weight in gold, especially in the season's early stages when everyone's finding their feet.
No doubt about that, and plenty of exciting action coming up in round 2, which you would have seen on your screens. Well, don't fret, the round may be over, basketball fans, but there is a big WNBL 25 season ahead. We're only just getting started. On behalf of Mark Alabakov, Nathan Stremple, myself, Matt Hickey, and all our production staff, we thank you for tuning in to this game between the Flames and the Caps, rounding out round 1, and it was the Sydney Flames who walked away victors 102 to the UC Caps 85.